Hello, all. Welcome back to the Pathfinder Legacy Podcast. I'm your host, Heidi Olson. On this podcast, we talk about the stories that shape us, farm and business succession, rural roots, family legacy, entrepreneurship, agriculture, and the people who are building something meaningful for the next generation. Today, I'm sitting down with Sheridan Visser and Haley Robinson, the women behind Holy Cow Tallow. They are rural women, moms, and entrepreneurs who have taken something deeply connected to agriculture and turned it into a business that serves families, communities, and customers looking for simple, practical products. I've personally used their tallow and really like it. So I'm excited to sit down with them today and hear more about where the idea came from, what it has been like building a business together, how rural life has shaped their work, and what kind of legacy they hope to create through Holy Cow Tallow. Sheridan and Haley, welcome to the Pathfinder Legacy Podcast.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for having us.
All right. Well, very good. So tell us who you are and what your background is, where you come from.
Go ahead, Haley.
Okay. I'm Haley Robinson. I'm originally from Southwest North Dakota. My husband and I we have two boys and one on the way. We ranch in Southwest North Dakota. We've been registered Red Angus cattle. I've kind of been here my whole life, and agriculture has been my whole life. I grew up on a farm and ranch and kind of knew that was always what I wanted to do and where I wanted to end back up again.
Sheridan? Yeah, I'm Sheridan, and we also ranch in the Southwest North Dakota area. I'm married to Austin Visser, and we have two kids, Stetson and Laramie. They're 5 and 2, and then another baby expected anytime this week. So
all right,
we're going to have another boy joining our family. So lots of family life and family-based decisions is kind of what led us to wanting to make some clean products.
There you go. Yeah, absolutely. With having a young family. So you both grew up in the southwest part of the state. You're back close to home. Are either of you on farmsteads where you grew up, or are you on your husband's farmsteads?
So my husband's actually from Southwest Montana. So we imported him here.
Okay.
But we run our cattle on some of our family land, but our farmstead, we purchased that together 7-8 years ago now. So
okay,
our home place is our own, but we run on a lot of family land right now.
Okay, very good.
And I'm actually from Amarillo, Texas, so I'm the import.
Okay.
And Austin's from Eastern North Dakota. And so we just kind of landed in this area, and we're first generation, building from scratch, everything. So we're not originally from this area, but we love it, and we've settled in really nicely.
Yeah. Well, very good. Well, welcome to North Dakota. What a great place to come and be able to raise your family and start something that you can really start creating that legacy for your family. So how did you two meet? How was it that you two came about? Are you neighbors?
No, our husbands knew each other beforehand. So that kind of brought us together. And yeah, we just kind of hit it off right away and been friends ever since Sheridan moved up here. So
yeah,
okay.
Fate. Yeah.
Fate brought you together. So here you are creating something. So what does a normal day look like for each of you?
I am home full time now. So my husband and I ranch. We both are full time now. So I'm, taking care of kids, cows, a little bit of everything right now. So, but I'm really enjoying being home. And I don't know how we got everything done before. My husband used to work in extension as well. And then he went full time back in, I think, 2022. And then I've been home full time for 2 years now. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I work full time for Farm Credit Services of Mandan. I'm a crop insurance agent. And then my husband, he ranches full time and keeps the show going. And he does some part-time work for Bowman Livestock Marketing as well. So he's got a few side jobs, but primarily he's the one that keeps the ranch going. Yeah.
There you go. So very well-rounded backgrounds for you to bring this business together full circle back to where you two have decided to work together. So tell me, how did that business story start? How did that begin that you decided to do this?
Well, I think the tallow trend was just kind of starting at one point. And I, was thinking that I would like to get some for myself. And then I'd thought, we process several beef a year, so maybe I'll just have them save the suet for me and try to make it myself. And so I brought it up to Sheridan, and she had been thinking the exact same thing. So we're like, well, let's try to make some for ourselves. So for the first year, we just made it for ourselves and our families and friends, and it just kind of grew from there.
Yeah, I'd been using tallow on my face and it just had tremendous results. I've struggled with acne my entire life. And then once we got rid of the chemicals and just went to a simple face routine, clean products, chemical free, my face cleared up and it's been phenomenal. So I knew I loved tallow. And whenever we decided, well, let's just make our own, you kind of look into it, how can we make this? And it turned into some products that we could improve on and work on our formulas and end up with a product we're so happy with. Like, we could really sell this. This is better than the stuff I was buying before. So
Right.
And my oldest son had some eczema issues too. Nothing too severe, but I hadn't really found a lotion that had worked for him. And I had done some research and found a lot of people saying that the tallow had worked well on eczema. So that's one of the driving factors of why, I'm like, maybe we should try this. And
Okay. What did you know? So before you had a need, you both knew in your own families and for yourselves that this was something that you could use and having good, clean products. What did you know about tallow before starting to put your recipe together?
So we knew that, store-bought products have all kinds of chemicals in it. Some of them can be petroleum-based, and that your skin just doesn't always react to that best. So I had underlying redness constantly, and I just thought that's who I was. That was my skin type. But it was really just a consistent reaction to the chemicals I was putting on my face. So once that was cut out, to see that reaction of what thing really stood out when I was learning about tallow is that it closely mimics your skin's natural oils. And so it works with your body. So your body's not trying to reject it. And that was a selling point from me. And it really showed as I started to use it too, was to cut the chemicals out. And it's packed full of vitamins too. So I had fine lines that were starting to disappear and my skin started looking brighter and healthier and have a glow to it that it didn't have before. So you could just see the skin was happier too once it came on. And it was becoming a trend at the time. So it was advertised everywhere and seeing the great things they saw about it, high in vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin E, vitamin K, all those soluble vitamins that we're trying to get anyway on our skin, but without all the added stuff we didn't want. So I'd say everybody else advertising their tallow is what sold me on it.
So how did you your experimental process? So you had the suet that you're using from your own livestock that you were raising. How did you begin to start this process? A lot of trial and error and...
Yes. Google. That was right away the first time we made it, we both loved it, but it wasn't quite the right recipe for sure. It was a little bit greasier than what we would have wanted. We used up all that first batch and let's tweak it a little bit. And so I think originally we just used olive oil that we had mixed with the suet. And then we ended up switching our recipe a little bit up, reduced the amount of olive oil, and we started using jojoba oil as well. So it's a mix between the olive and the jojoba oil right now. So we even tweaked that more as we go along. Playing with essential oils, different essential oils are good for different things. So Sheridan's the expert on all of that stuff. I let her do that. But so we have several different scents that we sell now, and they all serve different purposes. So we've had a lot of fun experimenting and figuring out different blends and mixes that work well.
Yeah. So, as you research, you learn the different properties each has. And I could see that in my face too. And we also have a bunch of good test subjects amongst your sisters and our friends. And we get our feedback from people too. And,
right.
Actually, when you have that high amount of olive oil in it, we learned that is more pore clogging. And so you'd have a little bit more clogged pores. So we want to reduce that. And it would be a little more greasy, so actual results would be okay, we need to cut that out. And jojoba oil, it absorbs a lot better. So that's trial and error there. And among the essential oils, we know we wanted anti-aging. We wanted cleansing products. We wanted soothing products. And so each essential oil has their own purpose. And then we wanted to make certain lines that were more gentle than others because some people can't handle frankincense or peppermint or things like that. So we do have one called Heavenly Heifer, and it's just lavender and vanilla. And those two are pretty soft and gentle for people, or also unscented if you don't like essential oils at all. And at the time we were making one batch is when I was pregnant with my second child. And so now we're like, hey, what essential oils can people who are pregnant use? Let's make a line just for that too, out of my own necessity. So peppermint is kind of one that they try to steer you against. So we did make sure we had some lines that didn't have peppermint in it and things like that. And there's others that we experimented with that never made it to our final line, and for reasons like that too.
Sure. So what was first off, tell me how many different products that you're selling right now.
Yes. So we have 4 main ones and then some seasonal ones that kind of come and go. We have unscented, of course, which is going to be your most gentle one. And then Heavenly Heifer is our vanilla and lavender. Then we have Happy Heifer, which is very popular. That's got a lot of anti-aging benefits in some of those essential oils. It's kind of your all-around skincare one. And that's got frankincense, tea tree, lavender, and cedarwood. And Fresh Heifer is a really kind of bright, fresh, minty not flavored, but smelling one. That's more acne based. A lot of cleansing products in there, or cleansing properties, I should say. And that's got the peppermint, tea tree, and frankincense. So those are our 4 main. And then around Christmas time, we make Candy Cane Cow. And that is vanilla and peppermint.
Oh, and our new line. Well, we have we came up with originally, before we started making our own, I was using a tansy with essential oil, but a tansy tallow mix. And that's supposed to be very anti-aging. And so we decided to try, we call it our premium blend. We've just had this one for maybe a year, or not quite a year, probably. Since last fall, I think we started selling it. But we also switched up the oils a little bit in that one. So we use castor oil and jojoba oil, and we don't have any olive oil in that one. And then we have the blue tansy essential oil, and then what else? Lavender and rosemary. Yes. So all very like anti-aging properties. So that's the one we recommend for like a premium face blend, which that's the one I use all the time.
And what did you call that one?
Timeless Tansy is that one.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. The last time we made tallow, we were experimenting and trying to figure out. My dad uses our tallow a lot, and he kept telling me, "You got to get a more manly scent." So we had been experimenting with a little bit more manly smells, fragrances, or essential oils. So we are working on rolling we still have, I don't know if we officially decided on a name.
I don't know, maybe we should have a contest for the name.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we'll have to put this out there for you. Put a contest out there.
Reach out to us if you have a name for a manly tallow.
So it's still in the works, but I think we figured out our recipe that we want.
So it was like sandalwood based. So far, the men in our lives have said they're okay with sandalwood. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're still working on that one. Hopefully we'll have a name and everything finished up here. And well, I don't know. We're a little busy with babies and stuff coming.
Oh, yes. Yes. Raising your families and keeping everybody going. And it's summer. Yeah. So that's your busy time of year.
Oh, and then we have lip balm now too.
Yes. Yep. That is one of our constant products is lip balm. We have a vanilla spiced chai latte and a vanilla peppermint one. And our other seasonal one for the summer is our sun balm. So it's called Sunny Cow, and it's got zinc oxide in it. And so that's the active ingredient that helps protect you from sunburning.
Oh, so that's good to know. So you have a sunscreen as well that you put out there. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Well, very, very neat. So you've done a lot of work on your products and perfecting it, and you're constantly working on figuring out what customers like and what they don't. You've heard your dad giving you suggestions. What has been the most surprising of your customer responses for your products?
It's really fun just going around town and people stopping you that, because I'm not from the area, I may not even know, saying, hey, I've tried your tallow and it fixed this problem or that problem. And it's all over the board, the problems that they're coming across with. And, one said their husband had an injury on his hand and it wouldn't heal. Well, she started putting tallow on it. And within a week or two, she saw better results than she had with anything she'd gotten off the shelf. Sunburns, that has been a very successful tool for healing up sunburns. And eczema and dry skin. And a lot of people say it, I used to have to put lotion on multiple times a day. And I started using your tallow. I put it on the morning and I'm good for a long time. I don't even have to reapply. So I would say it's really nice, or really neat to hear across the board all these problems people are solving with the tallow that I never even thought of as an original purpose when we made it.
Right. And all of these good benefits that you're hearing that come out. So then as you're working on perfecting and building your product lines, that really there's probably more things that you're learning along the way with doing this.
Yeah.
Very,
yeah.
very
People say,
neat.
I'll use it for dry scalp or for baby rash. And it's like, there's so many niche places we could tweak our essential oils that's specifically good for that. And I think that's interesting too.
Okay. Nice. Very nice. So if you guys have any specific story that really sticks out with you, that someone has said something that has been just that one thing that someone has just been.
Oh gosh, I don't know. I mean, like Sheridan said, we've heard so many different stories and all similar, different skin issues that they've tried different tallows even. They've tried different products, they've tried everything under the sun and nothing really started to help until they started using ours. And I would say like in the beginning, I didn't really realize how different maybe our tallow that we make would be compared to, some other, there's a lot bigger businesses that sell whipped tallow now. And the difference between the two, I mean, like you open up another jar and like you could feel the difference. Hearing all those stories and what has helped people is always fun to hear.
I'd say my personal testimony of just seeing, I'm 30 years old and I finally figured out how to get on top of acne. That's been personally precious to me because, into your adult life, that can be very frustrating.
Yeah.
So to see that my skin just thrived with doing natural ingredients and not have to worry about acne into my 30s is very nice. And recently my husband had a hand injury and he had to wear a bandage on his finger and a splint. He broke his finger. And after having that on for weeks, his skin was pretty nasty. It was just kind of peeling off. And the doctor said put vitamin E oil on it or something like that. And it was pretty nasty. But after just 2 nights of putting tallow on it, his skin looks almost back to normal already. So that's been a good visual to see what tallow can do for your skin, because your body just accepts it and uses it as its own. They call it sebum, is your natural oil, and it really mimics the natural sebum that our body produces into the skin. So, yeah.
When it's really that product that's probably as close to natural as you can get for any other skincare. So then your body isn't going to reject it. It's just going to absorb and it's not anything that's harmful. So you see the results and how quickly your body adjusts to that. So, one thing I really appreciate about your business is that it's connected back to agriculture. So you're both farming and ranching. How has rural life or agriculture shaped the way you think about the products in your business?
I would say within rural life, we're surrounded by like-minded people that want simple. Even the men in our lives are not going to go lotion shopping. So it even clicks with them that this is just a beef product. This isn't too fruity for them, I guess you could say. So to be able to not just see it as a cosmetic, but also something that could heal and solve problems, and to be around simple people that are like-minded and enjoy clean products as well. It's kind of shaped what we want for ourselves, and other people around us want it too.
Yeah, for sure.
I would say too, before we started making the tallow, we were selling quite a bit of beef too. And figuring out ways to utilize more parts of the beef that we were selling, a lot of it gets thrown out. If you don't request to save the suet fat, they throw it out. So I was just trying to come up with different ways to utilize more of the animals that we were processing as well. And so it fit perfectly into what we were trying to do there.
Yeah.
Right,
and maybe we should teach them. Suet fat is different than trim fat.
Yes.
So 2 different types of fat on the carcass. And the suet fat is the fat directly around the kidneys. And it's a very white, pure type of fat that makes good skin products. Now, the rest of the trim fat is great to render down for cooking and things like that. So there are other ways to use that. But in our particular business, we just use suet fat.
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's good to know because
Yeah.
I guess I never researched it and thought much about that, where the suet fat comes from.
Mhm.
So how much suet fat do you suppose you're getting from one animal?
Like 8 to 10 pounds is usually.
Yeah, it varies based on the animal quite a bit. It can, but yeah, I would say typically you can get 8 to 10 pounds off of one beef.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Raw. Then
Yeah.
gotta render it.
yeah,
Raw, yep. And then
Yep.
render it and start your
Yep.
processing of it. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Do you find that people are more interested in knowing where their products are coming from? And it's kind of like that labeling that they always talk about on the agriculture side, knowing what's in your product and where they're coming from. You guys have a lot of local people, but are you also, then a second half of that question is, are you shipping out and selling it out of the area too?
Yeah. So I think, COVID kind of started that trend of people wanting to know where their food is coming from, where their products are coming from. So I think that people, when we first started selling, like people really appreciated knowing like this is local beef. It's raised locally, fed locally. Everything's from Southwest North Dakota. So I think people really appreciated that. And right away, we were just selling locally. That was it. And then we started getting into some storefronts and started shipping quite a bit. So yes, we do actually have a storefront in Amarillo, Texas that we ship to pretty regularly. And then we do a lot of individual orders too that get shipped everywhere under the sun. We're not always sure how they find us, but they are able to contact us through social media and we ship out. So yeah.
Okay.
We'll ship anywhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we do have some retail locations. We have multiple here in Bowman and one in Crosby and Mandan. Dickinson, Amarillo, Texas. So yeah, we're open to retail locations as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, very, very neat. As the word of mouth spreads, the product really speaks for itself and you get those repeat customers that keep coming back and building more and more on that. So you built this business together, being in a rural part of the state. What has it been like building this business and still you're running your business and still running your family, your households as well? I mean, you're both so busy. Talk about that, how
It's been
building that business.
Slow growth, I would say, but we can allow ourselves to be as busy as we want to be, which is nice. But it's been a learning curve for sure. Trying to figure out schedules on days that we can make tallow. We have days where we just render, and then we have days where we just make tallow. And so trying to, figure out schedules has been quite a challenge, especially right now. We've probably slowed down a little bit this spring with both of us being pregnant. So it's been tough figuring that out, but it's a lot of fun along the way. So
yeah, it's very rewarding too. I think as hardworking, agriculture-minded women, we maybe don't plan like vacations or girls' days or things like that. So our tallow days were like, we're working, we're making money. We can justify just a whole day of us being together. So it's a lot of fun too, because it's maybe a hobby that pays.
Right.
We do enjoy it, and our days making tallow and all the giggles along the way as each batch comes together. It's fun too.
Okay. Do you're working side by side and you have your days where, I guess if you lived in the city, they're doing their mom dates or whatever, and the kids go to the park, you guys can get together. You're doing things. You don't have to worry about the kids. They could be outside playing in the yard and you don't have to worry. You can do what you're doing in the house and concentrate on what you're doing. So have you been able to divide your duties amongst each other, or you both, who's doing what, and you just kind of read each other's minds and know what needs to be done next?
We figured out early on what each one of us is good at. And we've kind of just filled our roles and it's worked out really well for us. Sheridan does a lot of the social media stuff, a lot of the research stuff. She's really good at that. I'm really good at the books. I like doing that part. We've taken on different roles. Now when we make tallow, it's kind of a system for us. We know what each one of us is going to be doing and what we're good at. Like, don't ask me to add the essential oils into the batches. Let's share, because I'll be like, oh, I don't remember what's supposed to be in this right now. But, I can do all the mixing. I can do all the other parts. But I leave that to Sheridan. So,
yeah, it's gotten a lot more efficient since the beginning because we just kind of start in the morning and, we do line up childcare for that day so that we can go in on, very focused, very undistracted. That tends to happen when kids are around.
Yeah, right.
And it's just like, hopping into a routine. We've got a good assembly line. We know who's doing what without even saying it. And, before we know it, we've got our shelves stocked again after a good tallow day of production. So it's fun.
Right. What does a production day look like for quantity?
Well, like I said, usually when we first started, we used to render and try to make the tallow all in one day. And we figured out that does not work anymore. We do not have the time to get as much done as we want. So we'll have days where we just strictly render. So we're cutting up tallow, putting in a roaster. So everything of ours is rendered twice and filtered twice. So we'll have rendering days and then we'll have production days. Take it away on production.
It's kind of comical when we look back on how we used to do it versus how we do it now. You can render quickly, but you shouldn't.
Yeah.
So now we might meet like an evening before and it'll slow render for, at least 12 hours on a low temperature. So that slow render really makes a better product. And we'll try to render as much as we can. And then whenever we know we're going to meet to do a production day, the night before that, we're filtering it again. We filter it multiple times and we re-render it twice too. And so it just gets cleaner and cleaner each time you do a slow render and a filter on it. So by the time Haley shows up in the morning, we're ready to make stuff and we can pull that clean rendered liquid tallow into separate batches. And at that point, we add our extra oils like jojoba or castor or whatever that batch needs and our essential oils. And then we give it time to cool kind of at an even slower rate too. And once it's at a hardened state, that's when we can start whipping it into the lotion.
Okay.
And so that's kind of how the day looks. Is part of it is just waiting for things to go from a liquid to a solid. So that we can whip it. And there's a lot of inventory taking and laughing and strategizing in the meantime.
And then, getting jars ready, labels, doing all that stuff. Try to get as much done as we can when we have the downtime when everything's cooling, because we know that we're going to have kids back at some point. And so with the little ones, it's a lot harder to keep focused on what we're doing. And it can be time sensitive. You don't want it to get too cold. It's a lot harder to whip if it's too chilled. So you got to kind of be able to pay attention to what we're doing that day. So,
okay, sure. Have you had your husbands or your other family come in and help you on production days?
Occasionally, yeah.
Render days, they're helpful.
They're good at cutting up the suet.
I
typically try to avoid the day as much as possible most of the time. But Sheridan's mom has helped quite a bit too when she's here visiting. So
an extra set of hands is nice for the jars and the labels and things like that. But overall, the other fun part about Tallow Day is sometimes that's the day our husbands leave us alone and we just get to make stuff.
And you get to just talk about life and just spend some time together and not have to think about some of those other pressures because you're focusing on your business.
Yeah. They know we're busy and so they're not calling for extra help outside on that day. So
there you go.
And now that we're actually making a little bit of money off of it, they're like, okay, we can leave you alone.
Now they see the benefit. Yeah. Absolutely. So the glue that holds things together. So, the theme that I talk about on the Pathfinder Legacy podcast is the role women play as the glue that holds everything together for families and farm businesses and the communities. And how do you really see that showing up in your own lives? Because women, we play such an important part of where families are. Everybody's got their role, but I always say that it is that glue, because without women, no matter what they're doing, there's no job, there's no men's work or women's work that I feel in our life, because we've got 2 daughters and our family's complete, but they go out and they run the equipment just as well as my husband did when he was that age. So talk about how you feel that is that glue that holds things together.
Go ahead.
Okay. I don't know. I mean, I grew up, my dad's right-hand man all the time on the farm and ranch. So I feel like I've always had a role in agriculture. And now being married and having our own operation, my husband and I each have our individual roles, but there's a lot of the outside stuff that, I'm doing just as much as he is. People would tell me like, maybe as a woman, you can't do that or you can't. And I just never thought that way. Now doing this and finding different revenue streams for our family, I think that's played a huge role in the success of our operation as a whole too.
I think women bring a lot of creativity to the operation too. Like you said, different revenue streams and different ways to maybe be more efficient or more productive. And, in this stage of life, I've also seen with myself, my friends and people around that the women's role ebb and flows with family life too. When you're a young mom with young kids, you may not be as active as the moms with older kids who are, now you're ready to jump back in the operation again and be more helpful again. And then in the season of young kids, I sometimes feel displaced from the operation, but I'm like, this is that season of life. Like I'm bringing the next generation in. So I'm still have my role. And before kids, I was out there with Austin doing all the same things he was. So I think it's also important to acknowledge the stage of life that you're in and the role that you play. And maybe it is your time to step back and be there for the children and, involve them as much as you can. But when you go from being very involved to being displaced and you get to be involved again, it's just kind of fun to see how life takes you through that. So I think our role, it really is fluid, depending on the family's needs. And that's very important to the role you play within your family and the next generation you're supporting to bring into it.
Right. And I think also a big part about getting through these seasons is having... We got a visitor.
Yes. Speaking of, he woke up from his nap.
That's all right. Cute.
I think an important part of this season of life for us that the women play a big role in. It takes a village to raise a family. We working cows. We call our friends for help, and I think as women we play a huge role in like connecting to one another and helping out with wherever is needed. And I think that's one thing we've found works really well for us. And I know I can call Sheridan whenever I need something for kids or if we're doing something with cows or whatever and vice versa. So
Yep, you're there for each other.
Ranching from not just being a business into being a community.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. Because it is that community that fully understands what it takes to keep things going, from everything from in the house to the business to what's going on out in the field and in the corrals.
Yeah. And not all friends, we have friends that are outside of production agriculture and they just might not quite fully understand like what we're going through. So it's nice to have a community behind you that understands what it's like. So.
All right. So entrepreneurship and learning as you go. When you first started, did you have some things that you had to learn really quickly about running the business, whether it was branding or packaging and keep that whole marketing side? I know Sheridan, you worked a little bit more with some of that, but you had the trial and error part helping to get yourself marketed.
Yes. Thankfully, like I said, we were selling quite a bit of beef prior to doing the tallow. So on the business side of things, I had some experience with, how we should structure everything, ordering labels, marketing, doing that sort of stuff. I had some experience with. So that helped a lot with getting everything started.
So entrepreneurship and learning as you go. When you first started, what were some things you had to learn quickly about running a business?
I would say on the opposite, we've given ourselves the grace to not worry about quickly. We have enough going on in our life and we have so many irons in the fire, you could say, that we knew this is something we wanted to do, but we didn't want it to be a stressor in our lives. It's something that's fun for us and that's good for our families. So it has been slow growth and we're okay with that and have peace about that too. So when we come across a problem, we just fix it and we don't worry about it. So, if there's better packaging, we found it and we made better packaging. If there's a better formula or something we want to fix on, we know we're a work in progress continually. And We're very proud of our recipe right now. I mean, compared to anything I've seen elsewhere, it's the most absorbable, and I've seen it doesn't get greasy like a lot of them do. So maybe we just got lucky and haven't had too many problems because we're really happy and proud with what we've got, and we just fix it as it comes along and let it be a fun process.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you didn't rush or make irrational decisions. You just let it happen naturally and just, did your research and took it day by day instead of jumping in and then having something that it wasn't going to work for you. So you had a learning curve and you've used some social media and such along the way. So you predominantly, when you're marketing your product, you're doing it on social media and Facebook and word of mouth to find your product. So your Facebook page is Holy Cow Tallow. Do you use any other platforms for marketing?
Instagram we use quite a bit as well. We've discussed possibly a website. Hasn't happened quite yet, I guess. I built our website for our ranch and for our beef business and everything. So I do have some experience doing that, but I don't know if we're quite ready to be doing that yet. Fulfilling orders from online and stuff, it can be time consuming. And I'm not sure we're quite to that stage. And we've gotten actually really busy with a lot of the retail stuff, sending to retail stores, which is a little bit more time efficient for us. So that has worked a little bit better for us. Not that we don't fulfill, individual orders, obviously, but that's the retail side has been a blessing for us on our sales. So
it would be nice. And it is nice having retail locations in different areas because somebody may message us and we'll say, actually, at a retail location near you, you can go down during any business hours and pick it up yourself. So that we don't get bogged down too much with the shipping, but we're happy to do it as well when it comes up. But those retail locations have been such a blessing.
Okay. Yep. Very good. Or meet somebody along the way. I think Haley, your sister, met us on the road. She was heading back home.
She gets recruited a lot to take orders back to Crosby for us. And obviously, your place is right along the way. So it worked out well for her.
Yeah, it worked out well.
Yeah. And we've got, I've got family kind of scattered all over North Dakota. I have one sister in Fargo. So she'll take orders east if she needs to. I've got a brother in Bismarck. So we utilize friends and family a lot too for helping out with some of that stuff.
There you go.
With any business, people are willing to pay shipping too. They kind of expect that if they're ordering online, that there's probably shipping attached. So I think it's just kind of the way of things now too, that people are understanding of it and it works under the business model as well.
Yep. No, very good. I mean, that's just the nature of doing business now. And when you're working in this business, most products, if you can't get it online somehow, I mean, there's not a lot of storefront for products. So being able to have the flexibility for that is nice for most customers. That's how many of us order online every week. We've got orders that we place. So yeah. Very good. Very good. So when you think about the word legacy, what does that mean to you?
Well, I mean, my husband and I have discussed this. What is the purpose of what we're doing right now? We're not necessarily fully first generation ranchers, but, we basically started from scratch. My dad had been out of the business for quite a few years. So we were basically starting over, and my husband and I discussing about why do we want to get into it? It's hard. It costs a lot of money to get into the business. It's not an easy way of life. We don't get to travel as much as we'd like or take those family vacations. And I think the big thing is leaving a legacy for our kids, building something that potentially one day they could take over. And all these different side businesses and revenue streams that we're trying to bring in is all just a piece of that right now. Whether or not, maybe our kids don't want to take over the place, but as of right now, our 7-year-old does. So, we want to build a legacy, build an operation that they're able to come back to. So
I think the word legacy goes hand in hand with integrity too. You want to build a foundation that builds them up as well. And you want your name to be tied to things that your morals are tied to. And I think that's very important too, that you're building something that you can be proud of and that shapes and shows who you are and your level of integrity. And I think those things are more lasting too. If you build a good name for yourself and whatever it may be, whether it's your cattle or your products or just the type of people and type of children you raise. I think that legacy goes long further than your lifetime or your lifespan. And that's something fun to build, is something that you can pass to the next generation that not only was a tangible thing, but also built who they are. And especially in the world we live in now, I think it's most important to give them a good foundation and something they can go in the world being better people about.
Right. And what a legacy you're both building for your families and how you're raising your children with those rural roots and keeping them grounded, but giving, that work ethic and all of the knowledge and the things that they know. And, they have a place to come back to. And this is what we have. This is family. This is your legacy as family. So what do you hope Holy Cow Tallow will represent years from now?
Well, when we're talking about what we should name our business, Holy Cow it's catchy, but also we wanted to bring in Christian values with that too. And, even our logo's got a Bible scripture on it. And so I'd like to incorporate more of that too, maybe daily Bible verses and just kind of that sense of agriculture and God's blessings and what we can make from it all go hand in hand and how it can go on to help other people, whether it's through their skin or through community. I think that's a beautiful thing, just to bring in our integrity and our values with it.
We've talked about, what direction we want to go with the business. Right now, as we talked about the season of life we're in, it's a little bit slower growth for us, but there will be a day someday where we're both going to have a little bit more freedom. The kids won't be so little. They'll be a little more independent and we'll have maybe a little more time to focus on it and expand a little bit more. So that's always in the back of our minds, but we know that our time will come eventually. But for now, we'll just keep going as we are and do as much as we can. So
enjoy it where it's at and keep building off of it. And who knows, the sky's the limit, really, on how far you could take it, and look how far you've come already with what you've built. So if you had any piece of advice or one piece of advice for rural women wanting to start something, what piece of advice would you give them?
I'm the type of person where if I, decide I want to do something, I kind of jump in with 2 feet. So I would say don't be afraid to try things. You're going to figure out what doesn't work for sure. But along the way, you're going to figure out things that will work for you. One example is being home full time. My husband and I talked for a long time on when is the right time for me to be home. And with the kids getting busier with, school stuff and extracurriculars, and financially, would the income still be nice? Probably. But what's more important right now is me being able to be with the kids and being able to, work. My passion's the ranch, 100%. And you ask my dad or any of my family, everyone knew cows is what I'm passionate about the most. So we just, decided to jump in and we figure it out along the way. And, like I told my husband, we're not going to just let it fail. We have to figure it out. And so I would say just having faith and, that a little extra work ethic is going to get you far. So,
don't be afraid to try new things. Along the way, you're going to learn about it and you're going to learn about yourself, and you will grow with it and with the process. And, if you start with that solid foundation, and I don't even mean a solid foundation for business, but solid foundation of who you are, and you know that you are a hard worker and that you've got the integrity to move anything along. If it's something you want to try, it's always good to learn new things, and it expands your horizons, honestly, with the community and the skill sets. And new skills are always fun and rewarding to keep growing throughout life. Otherwise, if you get stagnant in life, you may miss out on opportunities or not feel that reward of continued growth.
Very good. Very good advice. I like both of you, your outlooks. Very good advice to share with our listeners and women that are thinking about taking that leap of faith sometimes you just have to jump in and go for it and see what happens.
You never know how capable you are till you try.
Yes. Very, very true. All right. To end things off, so I've got a couple of quick rapid fire questions I'm going to ask you. So you can say just something fun I wanted to do as we finish up today. So what is your favorite Holy Cow tallow product right now?
Timeless Tansy.
I would say Timeless Tansy for me, especially for my face. I've always been a big fan of the Heavenly Heifer, though. So I use that on my body a lot as well. So,
okay. All right. What is one product you always keep with you?
Lip balm.
Yep.
And sunscreen.
I have a lip balm in every vehicle we own. So, yeah.
Okay. All right. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Tea.
Okay. Morning person or night owl?
Both.
Yeah, I would say now I've grown into a morning person. Yeah.
You got littles in the house.
Yes, that wake up very early. So, that's just where we are in life.
Best part of rural living?
The peace. The word peace comes to mind. It's a peaceful living.
I would say, I don't want to say lack of drama, but there's a lot of different aspects that come to living in town and being in a different lifestyle. And, we kind of control our own pace of life. So that's really nice.
Okay. Hardest part of rural living?
I would say not everyone understanding our way of life. Obviously, my family does, but they're not directly in the business either. So going camping and doing some of those extra things is a lot harder for us to do. So that's the harder part. But, I still want my kids to be able to enjoy other things in life too. So trying to balance the ranch life and the fun is always a struggle for me.
I'd say rural living comes with its own natural consequences. Wintertime.
Yeah.
And just the natural things that come with cattle and livestock and weather and cattle markets. It's a high stress living at times, but it's very rewarding too. So I think managing the stress that can come with the natural occurrences of ranching.
Okay. One woman who has inspired you?
Haley.
Yeah.
Honestly, this woman's incredible. She's so hardworking and just such a go-getter and so laid back too that sometimes it reminds me not to overthink things so much and to have the type of drive that she has. So it's fun having agriculture friends around you that are just living their life and seeking happiness and being successful at it. So yeah, I'm surrounded by some great women in my life.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a tough one. I mean, there's a lot of women. Obviously, I'm always going to look to my mom, but she's not directly in agriculture either right now. So if you look, you will find a lot of really strong women in agriculture that you can look up to. And being able to find the right ones to be friends with, that's been a blessing for us for sure. So
very good. So one piece of advice, last rapid question for you. One piece of advice you find yourself that you keep coming back to.
God provides. He truly does. He provides, and he provides abundantly. And the more you look for his blessings, the more they flow in. If you look for the downsides and you look for the negativity or you look for the hardships, you're going to find them. So I think it's, with your perspective, always keep it on God and know that he's going to lead you down the right path if you trust in him and follow his ways when he tells you to do something.
Okay. Very good.
Gosh. I don't know. I don't know. I'm blanking. I've always just been the type, just to go for it. I mean, that's my biggest advice for anybody else too, is just go for it and we'll figure it out. So, yeah.
Yep. Okay. All right. Very good. Well, Sheridan and Haley, thank you both so much for sharing your story today and being with me. I think what you've been building is such a good example of rural entrepreneurship, taking something rooted in agriculture, family, and stewardship, and creating a business that connects so many people back to agriculture in a really practical way. You've worked hard, you've persevered, and you've seen it evolve, and what a great thing that you've started. I know I use it. My family uses it. So thank you for all your hard work and creating that product. Tell our listeners again how they can find you. It'll be in the show notes. We'll make sure that we've got a link. But tell our listeners how they can find you to reach out to order your product.
We are active on Facebook and Instagram. It'll be Holy Cow Tallow. I think Instagram is Holy Cow Tallow ND. And then we've got the retail locations too. So if you're in any of the cities or towns that have the retail locations, we've got Crosby, North Dakota, Dickinson, North Dakota, Mandan, Bowman, Amarillo, Texas. Mm-hmm. So I think those are where our retail locations are at right now.
Yeah, you can find all those retail locations on our Instagram or Facebook. Yeah. We have them listed there. Or message us directly, and we will do local deliveries or shipping.
Mm-hmm. All right. Wonderful. Well, very good. Well, thank you all for joining us on today's episode of the Pathfinder Legacy Podcast. A big thank you again to Sheridan Visser and Haley Robinson of Holy Cow Tallow for sharing their story, their heart for rural life, and what it has been like building a business as women, moms, and entrepreneurs. You can find their business links in the show notes below, so be sure to check them out and support what they're building. If today's conversation made you think about your own family story, your business, your farm, or the legacy you want to leave, I hope you'll take that as a reminder that legacy isn't built all at once. It's built in the daily decisions, the stories we preserve, the work we do, and the people we pour into along the way. Thanks for listening to the Pathfinder Legacy Podcast. Until next time, I'll see you between the ditches.
Thanks for listening to the Pathfinder Legacy Podcast, where your future is our focus. Be sure to subscribe, follow us on social media, and visit us at pathfinderlegacy.com to start building your transition plan today.